Hello and welcome to Axel Loud. This one is a different episode because you've watched Axel Loud before. I stick to a format. I'm breaking the format for the first time. I'm interested in having a linear conversation today, a chill conversation. I haven't really prepared anything. There are no questions today. Sanjana, we have a lot of friends in common, like you've said once. And I have only heard good things. I've only heard great things. Apparently, your vibe is great. From the limited
I'm glad
conversation with you, you have a great vibe. Welcome to Access Aloud. I'm not going to say welcome to Bollywood and stuff like that because you've done stuff before, but welcome anyway.
Thank you.
Listen, I wish we were doing this in person.
I know.
Where you would be in front of me because I really would want to give you a warm hug right away. I'm sending it to you virtually.
Thank you.
Because I really want to tell you that you're doing this really strong.
Thank you. That means a lot.
At the end of the day, when you have the first movie that you were a lead in coming out, right? Obviously, we are hoping for the best of scenarios. Of course, there's a jitter, there's, you're scared of what the result would be and all of that. But as an actor who's coming into the industry and sort of showcasing and is waiting to showcase her performance, you would want to talk about yourself, right? And you would want to talk about your journey, your achievements, and obviously a lot of that is slightly jaded right now because of what's happening. How is that making you feel?
I'm not that kind of person where I don't like making anything about myself, really.
Yeah.
I've never, whether it was when I used to perform in school or go for debates in school, or then when I went to university, I really like doing. I'm very passionate about performing, which is why I'm here. I'm not entering Bollywood because I want me to be the talking point, or I want to be able to get opportunities to keep on telling you about how I do things. I'd much rather.
What nonsense you have! What does this mean? I mean, I have never met one actor in my life who's been like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about myself." What do you mean?
I know, and I'm sure you haven't. But it's the reality. Like, everyone who knows me, everyone who's even worked with me, whether it'll be an Imtiaz who worked with me when I was a child, or Mukesh, he'll tell you that. They'll all tell you that like, I'm just not that kind of person, honestly. Even my best friends will tell you that. What I do want is that at some point, even the audiences can see the film as a film too, and try and engage with it on a merit level as well. I would really like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Tell me, this is, like I said, your big first movie with your face on the poster. It is pressure. But tell me, before you got here, you have done projects before. But what has been the biggest step that you think that you've taken that got you here?
I mean, this only steps I used to take was on the dance floor in Kathak while doing Tatkar, and then Mukesh Chabra saw me taking those steps, honestly. It was one of those, and that's why when I say that I don't do things because I want them to be spoken about, is I was a 13-year-old kid performing in school, as I used to all the time. And Mukesh Chabra decided to go around in Delhi to search for a Kashmiri-looking girl, and randomly walked into my school. And my theatre teacher was like, "That's Mukesh Chabra. He's a casting director. He's looking for a Kashmiri girl. Do you want to audition?" And like, Ranil, I didn't even know what the word meant at that point, But I was like, sure, because I was that kid that there was no opportunity, whether academically or performing arts wise, that I would let go of. Because I was very hyper. So I did the test, and then I landed up in Dharamshala the next day. Like, imagine you're in school in your uniform one day rehearsing for a annual function, and the next day you're at the Dhauladhar ranges with Ranbir Kapoor sitting there like Jordan, like this. And you walk into the van and you're like, "Hi, I'm Mandy." So that's how it started. And like, Rockstar changed everything, because when you get such a surreal and big experience at such a young age, your relationship with it is very raw and organic. There's nothing that jades how you are, So even today, like, Ranveer and Imtiaz tease me about how I used to be, because they were like, "You used to tell us what to do then, and now you continue to tell us what to do." Because I used to be like, "No, let's not do Mandy will probably do this, she won't do this. And I don't know where that came from.
Then and all, you were like, my character will do this.
I was like character awareness before I even knew how to act properly.
I mean, of course, like being a child actor is a lot more different than sort of carrying a full-fledged feature film on your own shoulder, especially when you're on the poster of it. I'm not trying to stress you out when the movie is up for release very soon. But tell me, how has it changed now? Because it's different, because now the things that you can say can make headlines, and there are
I've learned that the hard
can
way
happen.
in the last couple of days.
A lot can happen. So how are you sort of getting used to the whole I need to be careful about what's coming out of my mouth situation?
The thing is that I was wondering, and I was, because everyone's told me this, that of course you've got to be careful about what you say, kind of thing. But like Ranil, I don't envision a career for myself or a relationship with my audiences, whether they're 10 lakh people or 20 lakh or in crores, where it's a calculated sort of like garb-filled relationship. I want them to know me as someone who says what comes to her mind, doesn't say it with bad intentions, and then I'm happy to like clarify things. But I'd much rather see them, because I don't want to become a over thoughtful and calculated kind of person, because I've never been like that. But I never say stuff with any ill intention, and that's why I think but like I maybe wouldn't put up a story when I'm flying out of Bombay the next time.
Oh my God. Like, apparently it was a big thing.
Exactly. So I think those small things I might like start becoming a little more cognizant of,
Yeah. Fair enough. Tell me, I remember like on the day, like, which is a month ago, when the whole news broke out about Sushant. I was sort of thinking the other day about what did I do that day when the whole thing came out, and I heard this like 5 minutes before the news broke out and stuff like that. And I remember one thing that I did that day was I stopped taking people in my life for granted, like the close ones in my life that I probably was not in touch with. And I remember that one night when I sort of, people that I even had like a few problems with, I messaged everybody and I said, listen, if you want to talk, I'm here. I'm always just a call or text away. Do you remember how you reacted to the whole thing? And is there something that changed in you fundamentally?
I don't remember that. Like that day somehow is, I remember it and I don't. I don't know. It's stuck in this like, it's very uncomfortable for me to revisit. So I don't. But
fair enough.
I actually don't even, like the last month has been, I don't have any objective takeaway on, because I've not got the opportunity to sit down and like get in touch with myself and explain certain things to myself, because it's, on the one hand, I'm doing the biggest thing in my life, which is finally bring this film to people, finally. And then on the other hand, I've lost my partner in this journey, and I've lost the one that I did this with. So it's just so much grief and so much shock, but also that you just get left with feeling literally numb. Because also I have to keep it together and try and, do these things, have these conversations. But what it did do, Renil, I think, is that it sort of reinstated everything that I've grown up being taught by my parents. It reinstated the fact that, like you said, take nobody and nothing for granted. Like absolutely nothing. Cherish when you know that you meet someone special in your life. Cherish them because I told Sushant this, that I'm like, whenever the next script comes, I'm going to run it by you, because when you develop a creative partnership where you trust that person's perspective and your perspectives align, then you just think that, dude, he's going to be there forever to like be my sounding board. And I now feel like, why, how could I even think like, so like you said, with my best friends, I'm just like, just remember that I love you and that I'm there for you. But also it taught me that a passionate artist's life is forever.
Absolutely.
Their work and it's, I mean, he's even more of a legend today, where I'm revisiting. I think every night I've sat and watched film after film in a completely different perspective, knowing that Emmanuel Rajkumar Jr. is his finest work.
Insane. It's too soon to ask you this, but like, sometimes as human beings, when we are sort of pushed into like a limit that we don't expect for us to be in, sort of like throwing you into the deep end of the pool when someone's trying to teach you to swim. There is some sort of an energy that you come up with that you probably don't know you have to sort of deal with situation. Do you think you sort of felt that when you were going through this?
I look at it as almost like baptization through fire, that you have to go through the fire to come out in some form, a little burnt, but also shining. It's just one of those things. But I know for a fact that it's an energy wherein it's that, like in my head, it's that he's looking over me every single second, and
Sure.
I want to make him proud every second, because I know what I do and how I do it, how much it meant to him. So it's almost like, I don't want him to drop a smile any second while looking over us, whether it's me, whether it's Mukesh, whether it's the whole team. That energy right now is, I think, guiding me more than anything else.
Yeah, fantastic. I was watching one of your interviews the other day, and you spoke about therapy, which I think one of your friends is going through it and all of that. And I realized that our generation sort of talks about it very casually and fair enough, because that's the whole idea of it. This is not a stigma situation. Mental health is not like it's like a taboo that you shouldn't talk about. And therapy is just like when you have a physical illness, you go for help to a doctor. It's the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
So, what do you think has been the main change that has happened after this?
To be frank, I think that because it's been 4-5 months to the pandemic now.
Yeah.
The sort of residual effects and the compounding effects of the pandemic on all of us, we don't realize those. In the sense that normal people who are totally all right otherwise are feeling anxious. They're feeling you feel frustrated, right? Because things aren't moving. But it's not like I haven't, to be honest, felt any positive tangential shift in our conversations in the last month, because I feel that for a genuine mental health conversation to come about, it has to reach a point where talking about it isn't special. Like you shouldn't, like we should talk about it like we would talk about what did you eat yesterday, oh did you also go and visit your therapist. It shouldn't be that, oh I heard she's going for therapy. We're still in that culture. And because we're far from where we need to be. So I feel like it's great that we started. I genuinely think that's good. But there's just too long and far apart right now.
Fair enough. But something that I started doing is, see, I also studied psychology in my undergraduation. I know you did too. So we have that in common. Nothing to do with what I'm doing right now, but I studied anyway.
It always helps though.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think it sort of made me a better people's person. I understand people better. I don't know. Now I don't know. I just trick people once in a while saying I can read mind, which is not true. I want to tell you. But I've realized that I have sort of learned to, if I'm not feeling good one day, I've learned to pay attention to it and not be like, oh, I'll be okay tomorrow. Is that something that you do too?
Sanjana, before Kizzy, was a college girl. And then suddenly Sanjana, post Kizzy, was a fully grown-up woman who was in Mumbai having finished her first film. And I didn't know what is Sanjana when you take away college and studying and everything I used to do, humanitarian work, and then Dil Bechara away. I didn't know how to deal with normal days post the shoot. So I've spoken to a lot of people who my acting teachers or my directors who I really respect about whether this is normal, and they say that it is, but they also say that it happens more when you give. Usually, a couple of years down the line, I'll know how to maybe get in and out. I hear Kareena Kapoor, who I love. I hear her say that, like, I do one scene 1 second and then the next second I'm chilling, And when I hear that, I'm like, damn, I don't know
how do you do
works.
this?
But I realized that 20 years of amazingly like honing your craft and working nonstop brings you that. So
for sure.
I've had a bunch of days which have been pendulums and they really threw me off. But these last 6 months of 2020 really also lockdown helped in evaluating and finding my center.
Yeah.
I know that Sushant and I had set out to try and achieve that. We had always spoken that at no point do we want to let Kizzy and Manny's illnesses be their defining characteristic. So that was really the goal. And to see that in this pandemic, in this world right now, Khul ke jeene ka makes people, we hear that they're calling it a courage anthem. And that's the greatest tribute to Sushant too. It's the only way that we can celebrate him.
Before we wrap, we have to sort of talk about the whole internet situation, the social media. First of all, congratulations to you guys. Apparently, it has beaten Avengers Endgame trailer and all. It's insane. When I heard this, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Like, I'm seeing everything that's coming out of the movie doing extremely well on social media. The love is only pouring in. I've been seeing like past episodes of me from my season 1 with Sushant just blowing up. And the comments are extremely nice. What does this make you feel? Because I'm sure it's overwhelming at some part or the other, right?
No, for sure. I mean, the fact that Kizzy and Manny are two people that I know the young generation of India sees themselves in the two of them, even though their struggles are so different. I know that Sushant and I had set out to try and achieve that. We had always spoken that at no point do we want to let Kizzy and Manny's illnesses be their defining characteristic. So when you see an Emmanuel Rajkumar, you see this full of life, really charming boy, and when you see Kizzy, you see this spunky little girl, and then you're like, oh, there's a pipe and there's a so that was really the goal. And to see that in this pandemic, in this world right now, Khul ke jeene ka makes people, we hear that they're calling it a courage anthem. Or such records. The team was telling us that they don't break just because something is trending. It breaks because people went and watched it time and again to rewatch it. And of course, that has a lot to do with Rahman sir, because his music has that quality where you hear it once, your ears get teased, and then you just want to keep hearing it again. So honestly, Renal, like, if it's anything right now that's making any of this feel remotely worth it, is this love. And that's the greatest tribute to Sushant too. It's the only way that we can celebrate him.
Also, I mean, while we talk about love and the immense love that the film is getting, you are getting, sometimes it's also very difficult to sort of ignore the kind of negativity that I'm seeing on social media sometimes, because it's just so bizarre. Like, I'm getting hate once in a while, and I'm like, and also like I feel, see, on one side of it, I understand, because we are in the middle of a pandemic. So people are, and their, emotions are all over the place. A lot of people want accountability. So anger is sort of like the go-to emotion, I've realized. But I've also got to a point where I'm like, I'm not going to sit down and take this shit if you're going to say this to me, right? How does this make you feel? Because like accusations are all over the place. This is all over the place. That's all over the place. People are saying, I mean, why a lot of these people who actually spoke about mental health the day after this happened and like, preaching about this are also, a part of that is the same people who's going to a lot of other people's social media and commenting the really, really nasty things that I'm seeing, which will in turn drive them to bad mental health situations, because these are not easy things to read.
I don't know whether I'm someone who I love, even more so recently, or because I've been a student of journalism, I love expressing myself on this small little world and bubble that I have of my own, where there are certain number of people who are with me on this journey for me. And that I really enjoy. And I, before these last couple of months, never realized, or maybe the toxicity wasn't as much, but I've of course been feeling that it's become, a lot of people in general are saying that we want to take a break from social media because we just can't handle it. But the thing is, Daniel, that's the thing that for myself, I think it'll affect me if I actually didn't know my truth, or I didn't know my intentions, or didn't trust that there will be more than enough people who will also know the same, And the thing is that with fame, and some of the biggest actors that I've looked up to have also explained this to me, that with fame comes polarized opinions of both kinds.
Yeah.
And that's to be respected. But the way I see my relationship with my audiences is one where it's not just a one way. I don't want just one way love. I want it to be a two-way street where I can drive impact too. I want to be able to impact their lives positively with my work.
Yeah.
So hopefully we start talking about our films more. We start talking about art more. We start getting, our interest the way it used to be in a Raj Kapoor or in a Nargis and their art. I wish that we can bring that back a little bit, because it's great to know everything else about our actors and what they do and what they eat. But it's also great to sit down and talk about उस गाने में उसने वो expression दिया. I miss those conversations.
Yeah. I always say once in a while when I'm like pushed to a limit where I will react to like a hate comment, I do my bit where I'm like, no, all that I do. And at the end, I always say, listen, if you have something nice to say to people, say it.
For sure. They say, right, the 10-second rule, just like shut your eyes, think for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Even I get so triggered to respond and to speak up, because also naturally I'm that kind of person. I don't like wrong things happening. But then it's just like there's no point fooling this.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Half the time they will respond and be like, "Oh shit, I really like you."
Yeah. Or
I'm like, now I don't know how to deal with this.
To be totally honest with you, earlier if I've read something that someone said, I have also tried to understand their perspective.
Yeah.
Only to realize that once I explained mine, they were like, "Oh, we're so sorry, we never saw it this way." So you realize that you're just 2 inches away from explaining perspective, actually.
Yeah.
But you can't possibly micro respond to everybody.
Yeah.
So
I completely agree. Listen, thank you so much for coming on Access Allowed. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
By the time the episode airs, the movie has released already.
Yes.
I have read the book. I have seen the first movie. It's a fantastic one. It's also extremely emotional. Once in a while, a great cry is good. So
absolutely.
I mean, it's one of those things where you can, sit in your living room or your bedroom or wherever, switch it on and have
tons of tissue boxes.
Yeah, have a great watch and have a great cry. So once in a while, you need to do this. It's fine.
Totally.
And all the best, Sanjana.
Thank you, Ranil.
I hope you do really well. And after this whole pandemic, when my season 2 comes in, I can't wait for you to be a guest on the show. And we'll have a longer conversation. We'll play games. You can go back with a hamper.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to win things. It's so sad that I couldn't this time. But next time.
Yeah, you can win a lot of hearts. There are apparently millions of likes on every video. Whoever is putting up those videos are making a lot of money. You also.
Yeah.
All right. At the end of Access Allowed, we do something called the Access Allowed Virtual Hug. So, because that's a new normal. We can't really do anything otherwise. So come in for like a hug with your arms extended and we'll take a screen grab. Extend your arms outside. Perfect. Got it.
So cute. Okay.
Thank you, Sanjana. Please take care.
Enjoy the film.
Strong.
Yes.
Can't wait to meet you in person and give you a real tight hug.
Absolutely. Take care.